Hi, I'm Dan Herlash, lecturer for the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater, College of Business and Economics, and this is week 14 that we're starting out. So our second and last week, it's the last actual week of classes, and next week is when you'll be completing your exam, and actually you'll be able to start it this week. So let's go through a little bit of the syllabus, what's going on. For this class, this is Principles of Selling. And we have a sales competition on Wednesday. So if you have not signed up already, it's really important that you do so. Okay, we're using the Simply Book Me to do it. So go on, and we have time frames from 9 to 3:30. Now, I understand that some people have some special circumstances and aren't always able to make those times, or something comes up. Please contact me. We will make every reasonable accommodation for you to complete the assignment, okay? So contact me ahead of time, and there's some things that we can do for you, all right? That's simple. Anyway, all right, so let's take a look at what we have for this week. So this is week 14. And I know on the 8th, you have an opportunity to drop the class if you want. I have most of the things graded. There's a few things I haven't. One of the things is the discussions, but you know what discussions you partake in. So, we have week 14 discussion, which is really going to be our last discussion, okay, that week. And this week. So you get points for doing the discussion. And as long as you did a meaningful entry, you'll get points. It's more participation than anything else. I said it early on, I'm not going to be grading it. I will assign grades for completing it, so it's more participation, so make sure you do it, and you can easily figure that out. That's the last thing I'm leaving, because it's easy to score and it's easy for you to understand that you got the grade, okay? Also submit your reflection paper, and again, I'm not grading the reflection paper. It's more if you put a little effort into it and think about it and answer the questions. That's all I'm asking for. If you don't put any thought into it, you don't answer the questions, I'm not going to give you credit. But I really want you to do that reflection paper, and that is obviously due Sunday night. So please have that done. And it'll be due Sunday night on the 10th, okay? Please fill out the course evaluations. The link went out. I didn't see what day it's due. So make sure that you're doing that as well. So a couple things. The last chapter I'm going to have you read is Managing Within Your Company. And this is a great chapter, not only from a salesperson's aspect, but also just a career aspect. There's a lot of great advice in here about managing within your company and how you get along with people and work in teams and the things you need to do to be successful. I wish I'd have had this chapter to read when I was leaving to go out into the world. So even if you're not ready to graduate yet, there's some of you that are, there's some that aren't. Please read that chapter. There's some great advice in there, and there will be a few questions on the test regarding it, okay? And then there's a module in there that's just my final thoughts. And it's a lot about being a salesperson and little tips and tricks and things to think about, how sales is changing, how things you can do in your career that would help you. And a lot of these things not only apply if you're, again, a lot of them are directly related to sales, but there are some things or the concepts that apply to you in everyday life and in your work. So please take a look at those articles. There's some recordings we have in there that I think are outstanding, okay? Week 14, as I mentioned, the discussion, so you need to do that. All the quizzes should be complete, and you should prepare for the exam. So I have done this. I have posted a study guide for the test that you can take a look at. Again, you remember the things and took notes on the things that you're going to have for the sales or for the quizzes that you took. And when you take the exam, it's actually going to be available as early as the 5th. So this Tuesday, you can start looking at taking the exam, and it'll run to next Wednesday, the 13th, which is when most of the classes, it would be done. If anybody, I'm sorry, goes to the 12th. I need to change that. It's going to be the 13th, I believe. But anyway. If you have any, no, I'm sorry, it is the 12th, pardon me. We made some changes. This should have changed to the 12th, so I will fix that. But either way, that'll be on next Tuesday. If you have any problems taking it, if you have any issues getting it done, contact me. We'll work on it. Okay. This is going to be an open book test. So you won't have to have the Respondus monitor. You will have to have the Respondus lockdown browser. Okay. If any of you if any of you are using an iPad or a mobile device that's Apple, let me know. If you're using a Chromebook, then we have some special things we have to do. So otherwise, normal PC and Microsoft, it should work just fine. Give me a call if you have an issue. All right, and I'll do my best to get these grades out. We do have our sales competition on Wednesday the 6th. So right now, putting together these sales competitions virtually has been quite time consuming. Let me put it that way. I work on it solid from one to the next, and that's why I wish I could get some of the grades done a little bit sooner. It's the Paycom Relational Sales Experiential Competition. It's going to run from 9 to 3, like I said, and there'll be cash awards and extra credit if you're a finalist. And one of the things I wanted to point out, and I will shrink this, and on the Paycom information, we do have a Paycom module that is posted. It's a separate module. I think I posted right before module 13. And we have posted a Paycom presentation closed role play competition. This document right here should actually say scenario. Okay, it's an outline for a scenario. We give you what the key issues are, a suggestion about what time frames you should be at in the different parts to get it done in 10 minutes. 10 minutes is going to go really quick. And by the way, when you do the competition, business casual is the attire. It's not business professional, but business casual, so it's important. Okay, introduction rapport. We give you some examples of things that you can say. Don't do it word for word. Make it your own, but these are suggestions to give you a track to run on. Review and recap it, and I would review and recap it very quickly. We gave you a lot of information here so that you can look at. You can use parts of that in the presentation. You might just want to review very simply, as we discussed on this meeting, you're planning to expand your locations from 10 to 13 and looking to hire additional 30 employees. Right now you have 90 employees. Does that sound about right? Okay. You mentioned that you use QuickBooks to manage your payroll and that you also hire an accounting firm. And then later on I do put in there what they charge, which we have changed, by the way, from the scenario. So it wasn't in the scenario, it said per month. The charge is actually per payroll, so per payroll period. Every 2 weeks, you're the one that gathers the time cards and you enter everything in it takes. Besides having to travel to all your locations to get the time cards, they're all done manually. You are the one that has to enter them all, and it takes you about 10 hours to do it, and you do it on the every other Thursday when you get your payroll due. Is that correct? Yes. You also mentioned to me that you had a little problem, that you thought you might have a problem or concern about buddy punching. And how often do you think that happens in your locations? Okay, so ask some clarifying questions. We found that, don't feel bad, don't feel alone. We found that 2.2% of the average employer loses 2.2% of their payroll every year. Now, in your case, from what I've seen, your biweekly pay is roughly about $70,000. Does that sound about right? Yeah. So that would mean you're losing approximately $40,000 a year. And with your expansion, it'd probably be even more. So is that something you're concerned about? Would you like to see how we can help you do that, how we can fix that? Great. Okay, here's my math note. If biweekly pay is $70,000, so it has that in. Talks a little bit about recruitment effort, and Pat spends 2 hours per new employee for onboarding. Okay, so if you got 30 new ones, plus you're going to have 10 new ones, 10 new ones, because of your turnover in the year, you're going to have 40. That's 80 hours. That's 2 full weeks, solid weeks. That's a lot of pay. Okay, will help you cost justify it later. So if that sounds all right, what I'd like to do is show you a presentation and address those issues. Hopefully you put together a PowerPoint and you can go through, relate back to the things that they said, and sell these main things here, which are payroll automation, the Paycom Pay, payroll tax management, and some of the HR management. Okay, so there's descriptions here of what they do and how you can sell it. Hopefully you're closing by then. Have your numbers ready. And remember and here's the actual student guide or the scenario. If you remember in this scenario, there's a lot of information here for you, and there's a chart here that you can use where you can put your employee counts in, calculate what the cost is going to be, annually multiplying it, or weekly multiplying, or bi-weekly multiplying it by 26 pay periods, compared to what they're doing now, and that should help you to get this sold. Remember, one of the things they might want to do, if you notice, Paycom only charges $5 per employee per pay period, and another $5 per employee per month for tax management. That's a heck of a lot that they're paying now. But they have a lot of other needs and a lot of issues. And what about buddy punching? And what about his time? And what about Pat's time? And how's he going to grow? How's he going to manage this if he has to do it all himself? And with their app or with their computer program, and remember, it's cloud-based, so it doesn't really reside on their computer. They can sit there and he can look at all the payroll, what the time card said. If something doesn't look right, he can correct it, he can fix it, he can make some calls. He might have to adjust it for a special situation with somebody that's maybe on FMLA or whatever, and then he can hit a button, and guess what? It's done. It's really fast. So it might take him maybe an hour instead of 10. Okay, so keep that in mind. There is also a contract here, and you need to try to close on a contract. Now remember, you start out this phone call first to get an appointment. He said, talk to my person, Pat. So you got a lot of information from Pat, and then you met with him. So you've met him already, or her. Jordan is a man or a woman. And you've met with her already, and you have gotten all that information. So now you just confirm it. Okay, build a little rapport. Okay, because so you've met them already. Confirm it. You are doing this virtually. Okay, you met them already, and you want to do the presentation to show how you can save them the money and time that you talked about when you're doing the needs ID, and try to close it. You may or may not close it. You may get to a different step. So take a look at these documents. There are some sample exemplar documents of some role plays for Paycom, for a national competition. Don't get confused by it. There's a lot of things on there that do not apply to what you're doing. Okay? It was more sophisticated, a longer role play, and it lasted a whole lot longer. You don't have the time, but hopefully you can pick up a few little tips and tricks and some things that you'll hear. We also submitted a document a video done by Nick Rasmussen and David Smith, two students here at Whitewater. Nick is now an advisor for Northwestern Mutual. He worked for them for 4 years before he started. He's extremely successful. And there's a great presentation and role play that he did. But again, that one was longer too. But just see the process of what he did. He confirmed what had happened, what was said before, asked if there was any changes, and then did a presentation specific to what their needs were, and did trial close along the way. So what do you think? How does that sound? Can you see yourself doing that and getting confirmation all the way? That's what you need to do. So anyway, good luck on it. Really looking forward to seeing some of these presentations and seeing the scores coming through. On Monday, this Monday, we'll be announcing the winners of the sales competition, the team selling competition, and we have a winner first, second, and third place for our class. So congratulations to them, and I'll put that out there on Monday. Thanks much. Take care. Be careful out there.